Today we're diving into the top 9 most valuable Lincoln Wheat Pennies, coins that could be hiding in your collection, pocket change, or even your attic. Some of these are worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars, so stick around to see if you have one of these rare gems. First up, the 9,948 Lincoln Wheat Penny is a fascinating piece of American numismatic history that remains popular among collectors. Although not the rarest of the Lincoln cents, its historical significance, potential errors, and condition variations contribute to its overall value. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, designed by Victor David Brenner. This marked a significant shift in U.S. coinage, as it was the first coin to feature a real historical figure rather than an allegorical representation of liberty. The wheat ears on the reverse symbolize national prosperity and were a staple of the design until 1958, when the Lincoln Memorial replaced them. By 1948, the U.S. Mint was still producing these coins in massive quantities to support the growing economy following World War II. The 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark, produced over 217 million coins. The Denver Mint, marked by a D, struck over 172 million coins, while the San Francisco Mint, denoted by an S, produced over 81 million coins. The total mintage exceeded 470 million, making this coin relatively common. However, the condition of the coin plays a crucial role in its value. A circulated 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny typically holds a modest value. In lower grades, such as good, G4, the coin is worth around 3 to 5 cents. In very good, VG8, the value increases to 5 to 10 cents. A fine 5th 12 graded coin can fetch 10 to 15 cents, while a very fine 5th to 25 cents can be worth 15 to 25 cents. The real value begins to increase with higher grades. An extremely fine FE40 example can sell for $0, 50 cents to $1, while an about uncirculated AU50 penny can command $1 to $3. Coins in mint state, mint 60 to MS64 higher, considered graded MS65 or higher, considered gem uncirculated, can be worth $50 to $100 or more. Some of the most valuable 1948 Lincoln Wheat Pennies contain minting errors. A double die obverse, DDO variety, where the date Liberty or In God We Trust appears doubled, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the doubling and coin condition. Off-center strikes, where the coin's design is misaligned but the full date is visible, can range from $50 to $500. Repunched mint marks, RPM, particularly with Denver and San Francisco issues, where the mint mark was struck more than once, can also increase the value of the coin to between $10 and $100. Additionally, coins with die cracks or cuds, raised blobs or lines due to die damage, can be worth $50 or more. If you have a 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny and want to determine its value, start by examining the mint mark to identify its origin. Use a magnifying glass or microscope to check for doubling, repunched mint marks, or die cracks. Compare its condition to online grading guides, or consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Additionally, weighing the coin can provide insight into potential errors, as a standard wheat penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If the weight significantly deviates, it could have been struck on an incorrect planche, which could increase its value considerably. While the 1948 Wheat Penny is not one of the rarest Lincoln cents, it remains a sought-after piece among collectors, especially in high grades or with errors. For those looking to invest, acquiring specimens graded MS65 or better with strong red luster is a promising choice. Error coins can also prove to be valuable finds. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a casual collector, this coin is a great addition to any collection. Next up, the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most well-known and widely collected coins in American numismatics. It was struck during World War II, when the U.S. economy was booming, and pennies were a crucial part of everyday transactions. Despite being common, this coin holds historical significance and can have some value, depending on its condition, mint mark, and potential errors. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure instead of an allegorical representation. The reverse of the coin features 2 wheat stalks symbolizing national prosperity, a design that remained in use until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial. The 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark, produced over 1.4 billion coins. The Denver Mint, marked by a D, struck around 430 million coins, while the San Francisco Mint, denoted by an S, produced over 282 million coins. The total mintage exceeded 2 billion, making the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny one of the most abundant coins of its era. In poor or heavily circulated condition, a 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny is typically worth only its face value of 1 cent. In slightly better grades such as good, good for, or very good, VG8, the coin may be worth around 3 to 5 cents. A fine 55 graded penny can fetch 5 to 10 cents, while a very fine 55 example is valued at approximately 10 to 20 cents. In higher grades, an extremely fine EF40 coin can sell for around $0.50, and an about uncirculated AW50 penny may be worth $1 to $3. Uncirculated examples in mint state, MS60 to MS64, range from $3 to $10, while those in MS65 or higher, with original red luster, can be worth $50 to $100 or more. The highest graded examples, with full red coloration, can fetch even higher prices at auctions. Some 1944 Lincoln Wheat Pennies contain minting errors that increase their value significantly. One of the most famous is the 1944 Steel Wheat Penny, which was mistakenly struck on leftover steel planchets from 1943. This rare error coin can be worth thousands of dollars, with some high-grade examples selling for over $100,000. Another valuable variety is the 1944 D/S over mint mark error, where a Denver D was struck over a San Francisco S. This error coin can be worth $50 to $300 depending on its condition. Additionally, coins with doubled die errors, off-center strikes, or die cracks can range in value from $10 to several $100s depending on the severity of the error and the coin's grade. If you own a 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny in bad condition, it may not be worth much individually, but it still holds historical significance as a wartime coin. Collectors often seek these coins as part of complete Lincoln cent collections, and they remain a favorite among beginners and experienced numismatists alike. Checking for rare errors and varieties can turn an otherwise common penny into a valuable find. If you have a 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny, examine its mint mark, check for errors, and assess its condition. Even in poor condition, it's a piece of history that connects us to the past. Whether you're a casual collector or an investor, Lincoln Wheat Pennies continue to be an exciting part of the numismatic world. Next up, the 1950 Wheat Penny, like the other pennies minted from 1909 to 1958, was designed by Victor David Brenner. The obverse of the coin features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse shows 2 wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent. Now, in terms of mintage, the 1950 penny was produced in large numbers. The majority of the 1950 pennies came from the Philadelphia Mint, but the Denver and San Francisco mints also contributed some coins to the series. While the 1950 penny isn't the rarest out there, certain variations make it more interesting than you might expect. For example, the 1950D penny minted in Denver and the 1950D penny minted in San Francisco are less common than the plain 1950 from Philadelphia. Now, when we talk about the value of the 1950 Wheat Penny, we have to consider its condition, mint mark, and any unique features it might have. A standard 1950 penny in average condition, what collectors would call fine, is usually worth just a few cents. However, if the coin is in excellent condition, especially in a mint or uncirculated state, the value can go up significantly. A pristine 1950 penny, for example, might be worth $10 to $20 or more depending on its grade. On the other hand, if your coin is scratched or has noticeable damage, its value will drop accordingly. Even though the 1950 Wheat Penny isn't one of the rarest in terms of mintage, its historical significance still stands out. The coin was struck during a time of post-World War II economic stability in the US. The 1950 Wheat Penny and the penny represents a simpler time in American history, before the design changed to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959, when it would have designed a state model in 159. To spot a valuable 1950 penny, first check the mint mark. If there's no mint mark beneath the year it was made in Philadelphia, which is the most common type, If there's a D or an S, that means you have a rarer version from Denver or San Francisco. After that, inspect the condition of the coin. A scratch-free coin will always hold more value than one with obvious wear and tear. So if you're planning on selling or trading your 1,950 penny, make sure you've got a good look at the details and consider getting it evaluated by a professional. Next up, the design of the 1,945D wheat penny. Just like the rest of the wheat pennies, the obverse of this coin features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side of the coin features 2 stalks of wheat surrounding the words 1 cent. This iconic design was used on all wheat pennies from 1909 to 1958, making it one of the most recognizable coins in American history. Now, let's zoom in on the 1,945D variant. This particular coin was minted in Denver, as indicated by the mint mark just beneath the date. The mint mark signifies that this penny was struck at the Denver Mint, who had a significant role in producing coins during World War II, especially with the increasing need for copper and other metals. In terms of rarity, the 1,945D wheat penny is not considered rare overall. In fact, millions of these coins were produced, with around 282 million being minted. However, like many coins, the condition plays a major role in determining its value. A 1,945D penny in good or fine condition is worth only a few cents, but when you find one in uncirculated or mint condition, it can be worth much more, sometimes upwards of $5 or even more depending on its grade. The most valuable 1,945D wheat pennies are those in near-perfect or high-grade condition. Coins that are graded MS65 or higher can fetch anywhere from $10 to $25 depending on the coin's exact quality and how well it has been preserved. However, finding a 1,945D penny in this pristine condition can be difficult, so those coins are much more desirable among collectors. Another key factor to consider when determining the value of the 1,945D wheat penny is whether the coin has been cleaned or damaged. Cleaning a coin can significantly lower its value, so always be cautious when handling rare or valuable coins. The value drops when a coin is scratched, corroded, or polished, as collectors prefer coins with original patinas. As for the historical significance of the 1,945D wheat penny, it's a fascinating piece from the tail end of the Great Depression and the war years. During World War II, copper was in high demand for military use, which meant that the US Mint had to ration its resources. In fact, copper was in short supply, so the government began using other metals for coin production, including zinc and steel. But the 1,945D penny was still produced with copper, which makes it part of the final wave of copper-based wheat pennies. Additionally, the 1,945D wheat penny is notable because it marks the end of the period when the US Mint produced pennies featuring the wheat design. In 1959, the design was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial penny, which has become the most commonly seen penny design today. So, the 1,945D wheat penny carries a bit of extra historical weight. It's part of a series that ended just a few years later. If you're trying to spot a valuable 1,945D penny in your collection, here's what to look for. Check for a clear, well-defined mint mark under the date, which should be a small d for Denver. Then, examine the coin for its overall condition. A well-worn coin may have little value beyond face value, but a coin with crisp details, free from scratches or discoloration, will definitely be worth more. To wrap up, while the 1,945D wheat penny isn't the rarest coin in the series, it's definitely an important piece of American numismatic history. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced collector, it's a coin that can hold some value, especially if you can find one in good condition. It's a great reminder of the resilience and recovery that followed the end of World War II. The 1,952D wheat penny was minted as part of the famous Wheat Penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. As many of you know, the coin features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, we see the iconic wheat ears, symbolizing the country's agricultural roots, and the words 1 cent. These pennies are highly recognizable, and the 1,952D is no exception. Now, let's talk about the 1,952D variant specifically. The mint mark D, located just below the date, indicates that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint was responsible for a significant portion of coin production, especially during the 1950s, when the US was experiencing economic growth following the end of World War II. The 1952 penny is not considered rare, as the Denver Mint produced over 122 million of them that year. However, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value, so let's explore that next. In terms of its general value, a 1952 wheat penny in average circulated condition is worth just a few cents, likely around 5 to 10 cents. These pennies were produced in large quantities, which means they are not considered scarce. However, the coin's condition is the key factor that can increase its worth. If you happen to come across a 1952 penny in uncirculated or mint condition, it could be worth considerably more, sometimes upwards of $1 or more, depending on its grade. To give you an idea, a 1952 wheat penny in MS65 or better, a high grade for coins with minimal wear and excellent surface quality, can fetch around $10 or more, sometimes even higher depending on market conditions. Of course, the price varies depending on the specific coin's appearance, such as the amount of luster remaining and how well defined the features are. Another factor to consider is whether your coin has been cleaned or damaged. If a $1952 penny has been harshly cleaned or has visible scratches, its value can drop significantly. Collectors typically avoid coins that have been altered, so always handle your pennies with care and keep them in good condition to maintain their value. In terms of historical significance, the 1952 wheat penny is a product of the post-war period in the United States. After World War II ended, the US economy was booming and the country was transitioning back to a time of peace and prosperity. The 1950s were a time of economic growth, and the US Mint continued to produce coins in large numbers to meet the demands of the growing economy. By the time the 1952 penny was minted, the wheat design had been in use for over 4 decades, but it was nearing the end of its run. Just a few years after the 1952 penny was struck, the US Mint would change the design of the penny to feature the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, beginning in 1959, and this marks the 1952 wheat penny as part of the final years of the wheat series, which adds a bit of historical weight to it. It's also worth noting that the 1952 wheat penny was produced in the context of the continued use of copper in US coinage. While copper was in high demand during and after the war, the US Mint still relied on it to produce pennies, meaning these coins were a reflection of the country's ability to maintain its metal resources and produce currency even during times of economic strain. If you're looking to determine whether your 1952 penny might be worth more, check the mint mark just below the date. If you see a small D under the 1952, that tells you it was minted in Denver. From there, inspect the coin carefully. If it's in fine or very fine condition, it will likely hold a little more value than a well-worn coin. However, the real value will come from coins in uncirculated condition, where you'll see the sharpest details and the most luster. To spot an uncirculated 1952 penny, you'll want to look for coins with smooth, sharp edges and clearly defined features. The surface should still have its original shine, free from wear and scratches. If you find one like that, you've likely got a coin worth more than just face value. To wrap up, while the 1952 wheat penny isn't one of the rarest coins out there, it still holds value for collectors, especially in higher grades or uncirculated condition. As part of the final years of the wheat series, it's an important piece of American numismatic history, representing the tail end of an era that lasted nearly 50 years. If you find one in your pocket change, it's definitely worth checking out to see if it has any special qualities or is in good enough shape to add to your collection. Next up, the 1944 wheat penny was part of the wheat series that was minted from 1909 to 1958. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, and it features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the reverse displaying 2 stalks of wheat, symbolizing America's agricultural roots. But what makes the 1944 penny so special? To understand why the 1944 wheat penny stands out, we need to consider the time period it was minted. 1944 was right in the middle of World War II, a time when the United States was facing significant economic and material shortages. The war effort was in full swing, and copper, the metal traditionally used for pennies, was in high demand for military purposes, particularly for ammunition. As a result, the US Mint had to get creative with its production of coins, leading to a unique twist in the composition of the 1944 wheat penny. In 1944, to conserve copper, the US Mint struck some pennies using steel, specifically leftover steel from wartime materials. These steel pennies, which were known as steelies, were produced in small numbers and are now one of the most famous and sought-over variations of the wheat penny series. However, not all 1,944 pennies were made from steel. Most of the 1,944 pennies were struck from copper, and these are the ones that are commonly found today. The 1,944 copper pennies are still highly collectible though, especially in better condition. So, what's the value of a 1,944 wheat penny in fine condition? Well, it's important to remember that coins in fine condition show signs of wear but still maintain clear details. For the 1,944 wheat penny, a coin in fine condition is typically worth between 15 to 30 cents, depending on its specific quality and any other factors like cleaning or damage. While this may not seem like a lot, the value can rise significantly depending on the overall quality and grading of the coin. If your 1,944 wheat penny is in better condition, like very fine or extremely fine condition, it could be worth anywhere from $1 to $3, or even higher for coins that have been well preserved. On the other hand, if your 1,944 penny has been heavily worn or damaged, the value will be closer to the lower end of the spectrum, or even just face value. One of the most important factors in determining the value of a 1,944 wheat penny is whether it has a mint mark. You'll find the mint mark right below the year on the reverse of the coin. If the penny has no mint mark, it was minted in Philadelphia. If it has a D mint mark, it was minted in Denver. And if it has an S mint mark, it was minted in San Francisco. The mint mark can have a big impact on the coin's value, with the 1,944 S being the rarer variety of the three. For example, a 1,944 S penny in excellent condition could be worth more than a 1,944 P, or it's also worth noting that a 1,944 wheat penny in uncirculated or mint condition, which is even harder to come by, can be worth significantly more, sometimes reaching $10 or more depending on the specific coin. Coins with higher grades, such as MS65 or higher, can fetch even more, particularly for the rarer mint mark variants. The historical context of the 1,944 wheat penny is one of the most interesting aspects of the coin. As mentioned earlier, the US Mint faced serious challenges during World War II, and the need for copper in wartime materials led to the experimentation with steel pennies. The 1,944 copper penny, however, was a return to normal minting practices after the government decided to revert to using copper for pennies again. This year is significant because it marked a transition period during wartime, where the US Mint's efforts were focused on supporting the military while also maintaining a supply of everyday currency. Next up, the 1,934 wheat penny is part of the famous wheat penny series, which ran from 1,909 to 1,958. The wheat penny, designed by Victor David Brenner, features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, while the reverse displays 2 ears of wheat surrounding the words 1 cent. This coin was struck during a fascinating time in American history, and it reflects both the challenges and changes of the era. Now, let's talk about the 1,934 wheat penny specifically. In 1,934, the United States was still feeling the effects of the Great Depression, which began in 1,929 and lasted for much of the 1,930s. The economy was recovering slowly, and the country was navigating through difficult financial times. The 1,934 wheat penny was struck as part of the ongoing production of this iconic series, with a significant number of these pennies minted in Philadelphia, but also in smaller quantities in Denver and San Francisco. The total mintage of the 1,934 penny was over 139 million, with the Philadelphia Mint contributing the majority of the production. The Denver Mint produced just under 20 million, and the San Francisco Mint produced a little over 10 million. These numbers indicate that the 1,934 penny isn't extremely rare in terms of overall mintage. However, the condition of the coin is what truly drives its value, particularly when you're talking about excellent or higher grade coins. When it comes to the value of a 1,934 wheat penny in excellent condition, meaning the coin has clear details, minimal wear, and strong features, it typically ranges from $2 to $5, depending on the exact quality and market conditions. A coin in excellent condition will have very sharp details, particularly around the wheat ears and the date, with only a slight amount of wear on the high points of the design. Now, if the coin is in extremely fine or uncirculated condition, the value can increase significantly. A 1,934 wheat penny in extremely fine condition might be worth anywhere from $5 to $10, while an uncirculated coin could fetch $10 or more, especially if it's graded MS65 or higher. The price can even go higher for coins in near-perfect condition with minimal imperfections, and the value might vary based on market trends and demand. The mint mark is another important factor to consider when determining the value of your 1,934 penny. Just like with other wheat pennies, you'll find the mint mark just below the date on the reverse side of the coin. If your 1,934 penny has no mint mark, it was minted in Philadelphia. If it has a D mint mark, it was struck at the Denver Mint, and if it has an S mint mark, it was made in San Francisco. Or the 1,934 S pennies is considered rarer than the other variants, and in higher grades it could be worth more than the 1,934 pennies or 1,934 S wheat penny. For example, a 1,934 penny in excellent condition could fetch between $10 to $15 or even more, depending on the grading. Historical significance also plays a role in the value of the 1,934 penny. As mentioned earlier, 1,934 was a year of recovery from the Great Depression. The US Mint continued to produce pennies in large numbers, even as the country was grappling with economic challenges. The wheat design, which had been in place since 1909, was still in circulation, but it was gradually nearing the end of its run. In 1959, the Lincoln Memorial design would replace the wheat ears on the reverse of the penny, making the 1,934 wheat penny a relic of an important time in US history. Another key historical factor that might contribute to the appeal of the 1,934 penny is that the US Mint was still using copper during this time. The coins from this era were made with 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving them their distinctive reddish-brown color. The use of copper would continue until 1982, when the penny's composition was changed to mostly zinc, with a thin copper plating. Because of this, the 1,934 wheat penny represents the last of the purely copper-based pennies, adding to its collectability. If you're trying to evaluate a 1,934 wheat penny in your collection, here are some tips to help you assess its condition. First, check the mint mark location, just below the year. Then, inspect the coin for wear, especially around Lincoln's portrait and the wheat stalks. Coins in excellent condition will have a lot of detail remaining in these areas, while coins with heavy wear may show smoothing or loss of design elements. Next up, the 1,937 wheat penny is part of the legendary Lincoln Wheat Cent series, designed by Victor D. Brenner. This coin features President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and two wheat stalks on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and unity. The wheat penny series ran from 1909 to 1958, making it one of the most collected coin series in US history. In 1937, these pennies were struck at 3 US Mint locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. Here's a breakdown of how many 1,937 pennies were produced at each mint. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, 309170000 coins. Denver Mint, dub mark, 504300000 coins. San Francisco Mint, 005000000 coins. While these numbers seem high, finding these coins in high grades today is much rarer due to circulation wear and damage over the decades. The condition of a 1,937 wheat penny significantly affects its value. The worth of a 1,937 wheat penny depends on its condition and mint mark. Here's a general estimate. Circulated condition, around 0.10 cents to $2. Uncirculated condition, mint state, between $5 and $25 plus. Proof and rare varieties can go for hundreds of dollars in top condition. Higher graded coins, such as MS65 or better, can fetch $50 or more, especially for the Denver and San Francisco issues. Collectors often look for error coins, which can increase a coin's value significantly. Some error coins from 1,937 can be worth a lot more. Here are a few key ones to watch for. Double die obverse, DDO. Some 1,937 pennies have doubling on the date or lettering. These can be worth $50 to $200 plus. Off-center strikes. If the design is off-center, values can range from $20 to $150 plus, depending on the percentage of the error. BI error. A small die crack between the B and E in Liberty. These are collectible and can be worth $5 to $50 depending on severity. Additionally, toning and luster can play a role in desirability. A penny with a rich original red color will often be worth more than one that has darkened over time. So, is the 1937 wheat penny valuable? While common in lower grades, rare varieties and high-grade examples can bring in serious cash. Rare. Always check your coins carefully for mint marks, errors, and condition. Understanding the grading scale can help you better assess the true worth of your coin. Grading goes from poor to mint state, MS 70, with MS 65 and higher being the most desirable for collectors.